Master Johnson back here with another one for you. Today's video is going to be dedicated to getting you to be able to step into the identity that has the confidence, so that that confidence can then be the catalyst to the new reality, the new experience of your life here as you know it. Now, if you're just now seeing my face, my energy is so magnetic, it only does one of two things. It attracts those that are ready for it and simply repels away those that are not. You guys have been blowing up this channel. I'm going to go ahead and dive right on in. Oh, but before I do that, if you are looking to go ahead and get closer, work closer with me, my team, my community, obviously you can find everything that you need inside of the community. And yes, it is $3. Oh my gosh. All right, now let's go and dive on in. How are you currently talking to yourself inside? Because that's the only language that matters. All right. Once we are able to develop the audacity to actually speak in a way that's going to be able to be triggering in all the right ways for ourselves, cause us to break out of that self paradigm, out of that doubt, worry, fear, too much thinking about what other people think about us, all of that bullshit. Once we are able to identify the identity that does not care about what other people think, but more importantly, takes care of ourselves from the inside out with the internal conversations that you continuously have with yourself, that is the only thing that matters. So the very first thing I want to touch on is this stuff called affirmations. Have you ever been like, yeah, I am rich, I am that bitch, oh yeah, da-da-da-da-da, and the next thing you know, your conscious mind says, you're just that bitch, you're definitely not rich. So you have a mind and heart incoherence, right? Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. When you are affirming, instead of saying I am, I want you to say you are. Because the reason is you are only coming from this past trauma and or this past awareness of what you think that you are. Let me tell you this, you are not your past, you are not your trauma, you're not what they said, you're not what you think that you are the consciousness. And if you are always remembering or re-identifying or automatically having a default of your past reality, well then that's what makes it feel very real. But quite frankly, you are not the body, you are not the thoughts, my friends, you are the consciousness behind your body and the consciousness that is the observer of the thoughts that come through your mind. You're not the thoughts. You are not the embodiment of those thoughts. You are not whatever. You are whatever you decide to be. Now, this is what you're going to be able to understand. Decisions come from intentions. So if you have not made an intention and then the decision to operate and have and hold the perspective that you are the absolute greatest that this world has seen, well then, my friend, you're not going to be able to speak into the affirmation that you once did, which is why I'm saying, and instead of saying, I am rich, you're going to say, you are rich. Now, this is the reason why. You're not speaking to the version of you today. You're speaking of the version that you think you need to heal. You're speaking to the inner child. You're speaking to the version of you that still has yet to buy into what you know yourself to be today, right? So instead of saying, I am rich, you're going to say, you are rich. Wow. Say it right now. Say it with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You are rich. Better yet, put it in the comments. You are rich. Once you start to be able to say you are, then, my friends, it'll bridge the gap into I am. Okay? Now, really quick. When you say you are, your subconscious as well as your conscious nervous system and mind has been so grooved and so trained and so conditioned into the words you are. Case in point, when you were growing up, hopefully you were surrounded by amazing people that only said, you are fantastic, you are brilliant, you are beautiful, you are fill in the blank. So that automatically bypasses the critical factor of the mind and automatically goes to the subconscious. So this is why when you say you are, it's going to be able to seamlessly land a little bit better. Now we can develop the confidence, the self-confidence into the I am. My goal and my intention is to get you to understand that you are God. Yes. Through God, you are God of your own conscious awareness, which then leads to the identity, which then leads into the reality that you have the perspective of. Guys, the way you perceive reality is the way you receive reality. Is this making sense? So what if I'm telling you right now, it's not about what you say, it's about how you are receiving or perceiving or the perspective that you have and hold that is then going to be the gateway, the catalyst, the character that is going to make itself impressed within you so that you can begin to speak from that identity. I love talking about this because I love superheroes. For those that don't know, I'm a big Iron Man fan. I mean, who isn't? Don't I give off Iron Man vibes? I have an assistant, and my assistant's name is Jarvis. For those that are inside of the community, you already know Jarvis. But why? Why do I have an assistant named Jarvis? It is because I take the perspective of being a genius, being a superhero, being a philanthropist, being a sexy, hot son of a bitch. My mom's not a bitch. But you can understand what I'm saying here. Because through the consciousness that I have and hold now, I get to select the identity that can speak with the integrity of what I'm speaking of and what I'm speaking from. Now, guys, it's only been 5 minutes in this freaking video, and if you're still rocking with this, just put "this rocks" inside of the comments. But I would have you start to investigate. If you do not like the current reality that you're in, what if you trying to fix the reality or manifest a new reality or put crystals up your butt and do a freaking rain dance outside to be able to have your special person come see you? What if it's none of that? What if it's simply just not paying attention to that awareness that is so engrooved with the problems of your reality, so engrooved with the consciousness of that reality? What if it's saying, you know what? If I'm watching this movie of my life, wait, if I'm the writer, the director, the actor, the screenplay writer, all of these things, what if I can take this slide that's supposed to be next and I can insert the slide where I win from that consciousness? And then the consciousness that I have will shine the light through that lens. This is actually an actual thing. But through that lens and that screen, or that lens that will shine onto the screen of reality that says, oh, this is when, fill in the blank. See, I love movies, and I love superheroes, and I love the fact that I'm literally a real-life superhero. Why? Because I say that I am. So here's how you're going to begin to start to speak to yourself. Here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. Understand that, number one, you're not most likely going to be emotionally familiar to saying, I am God, right? Until you start repeating it. See, you weren't emotionally familiar with being broke until you repeated that feeling of being broke. And so you repeated that vision or that focus or that understanding about being broke. What if I'm telling you right now, the way you perceive reality is the way you receive reality based off the repetition that you choose to operate from, the perspective that you choose to operate from repeatedly. Come on, I think you're getting it. I think you're starting to understand it. So, Master Johnson, are you telling me right now the only thing I have to do is deny the reality that I have when it feels so real? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. In other words, care more about you than you do your circumstances. Believe in yourself more than you believe in your circumstances. Understand that whenever you have successfully shifted into a new paradigm and perspective, your old paradigm, your old ego, your old perspective is going to challenge this new identity, which is why, my friends, I like to use an alter ego of Master Johnson. I like to use an alter ego of Iron Man, of Adonis, of frickin' Thor, of all of these amazing individuals that say, how would Thor look at this? How would The Rock look at this? How would whatever it may be that I choose to see from, how would they operate in this position? Right? Now, the last thing I want to go ahead and really kind of capitalize on here is, and you're going to write this down, definitions, meanings, stories. From the perspective that you have and hold is always going to come a definition, meaning, and story. See, the future is not real. Does that make sense? Let me just say, the future is not real. It's a state of consciousness. It's an idea that you have. Now, what does this mean? Let me tell you why it's not real. Because if the future was fixed, then that means your free will that God has given you is not free will. That means it's already a destined reality that you have to go live out and play out without the freedom of choice, which doesn't make any sense. Does that make sense? So now what I want you to understand now is if the future has yet to be experienced, then that means there's endless possibilities of the experiences that you would like to experience in your freaking life. So now, what are you choosing? What are you identifying with? What are you focused on? What is the perspective, and how are you perceiving the reality? Because at any given moment, you can shift whatever reality that you would like based off of your attention, your intention, and your focus, and then your definitions, meanings, and stories that are going to continue to pop off. So this is what I want you to understand. Until you get intentional, you're going to be in the default mechanism of the old self. Okay. And what if it's not about doing more things? What if it's about shifting the perspective that you have and hold? Because the late and great Wayne Dyer says, When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. What Master Johnson says, when you change the way you feel about the things that you're seeing, then the things that you have feelings about will change. Huge. Anyway, that was fun. It's been a minute since I made a video for you guys, so I figured I'd go ahead and come back on. Hey, if you guys enjoyed this, then go ahead and do the thing with the buttons. Share the videos, hit the subscribe button, come join the best community on spiritual understanding, personal development, and the mastery of oneself. Find the links inside the comments. But all in all, definitions, meanings, stories, the way you perceive reality is the way you receive reality, and you get to pick and choose how you move forward. And based off of not how you're going to get your millions of dollars, no. Who is the individual that says, I am God? Who is the individual that has the confidence that says, no matter what is happening outside of my reality, I am in charge of my reality? It doesn't matter how things are. The only thing matters is how I am, who I am, because of I am, and because of the I am that I choose to be at any given moment. Everything is. My name is Master Johnson. I'll see you on the next one. You guys take care.